Hello, welcome to the Hidden Manna channel. So we're going to continue with Joseph's double portion blessing, and we're going to look at, in particular, the Rocky Mountains, or, in other words, the everlasting hills. So let's just get the image that I'm looking for, which will be okay, it's in here, and let me just scroll up, and that's the one. So we are continuing on with Joseph's double portion blessing, as said. Just enlarge that slightly so it does it does blur out a little bit. So anyway, so we spoke about the divinely appointed name of America and where that came from, and the hidden knowledge that we gleaned from the hidden manna was that it was a name given by the Lord to his people, and the name America being that new name coming from Hosea chapters 1 and 2. Not my people, lo army, meaning not my people, and then the lo being dropped, and ami, meaning my people. So the Lord would then restore them in the latter days, and that's in Hosea chapters 1 and 2, as I've said. So the new name being Erica. So we got all that from there. So double portion blessing, Joseph's double portion blessing, Ephraim as Great Britain, and Manasseh as the United States of America. And this is the Abrahamic covenant, which was the Lord said he would make him a great nation and mighty nation. And we can read that also in Genesis 12 verses 2 and 3. I will make thy name great. There's no other nation in the history of the world that has had the prefix of great before its name than Great Britain, which is interesting. And in that blessing of Jacob, the Lord also said that he will become a great people. So we are looking at that. Yeah. And so we're going to look at now at the everlasting hill. So the blessing given to Joseph. So obviously Joseph's double portion blessing are side by side, and mixed into the tribes as well, but side by side. So we're going to recognize them by their heraldry, their emblems, and their flags and so forth. And we're going to look at all that. The seal, the Great Seal, or the President's Seal as well. And we're going to examine that. So we have Joseph, double portion, waking up to our identity. Some of us know who we are. We know that we're the tribe of Ephraim, but that nationally, racially, and spiritually. So, we have the full blessing of the Abrahamic covenant, where others only have what is called the, let's just minimize that, drag me down. Others only have what is called the, minimizing, and drag that down. So they have only the temporal blessings, some of the spiritual blessings, because, there are conditions on certain things, obviously, to get the full blessings. The full blessings of the spiritual blessings come through the restoration of the gospel, through Joseph's direct line, birthright descendant, Joseph Smith, which the Book of Mormon talks about. So 2 Nephi 3, 6 to 7 and verse 15, that Joseph Smith is a pure Ephraimite. So we have that, and he had to be a direct lineal descendant and pure direct descendant to gain the birthright. So we have here from Joseph to Joseph, and we have the in the translation, the Joseph Smith translation, we have Joseph patriarchal blessing, talking about his descendant here. So he had to be to receive the Book of Mormon, all the gold plates, the record of Ephraim. So it had to come. So the first vision, where God the Father and his Son Jesus Christ appeared to Joseph Smith. And so we see that in the Pearl of Great Price, Joseph Smith history. So we're going to look at that. So we're looking at Ephraim now in particular. So Manasseh, I should say. Let's just, and the everlasting hills, let's just move that over. What do we have here? Okay, I want to be a cowboy. I always want to be a cowboy. Of course, I grew up with all the cowboy films. So Ephraim is a heifer, identified as the heifer, as is. Let me see if I've got it. As is. I think I haven't got the picture. I didn't. Okay, where is it? So PC Pictures, Doctrine. Okay. I should have a picture of the Manasseh as the heifer. Well, the cowboy country, obviously. The cowboys are the Ephraimites and the Manasseites, if that's how you pronounce it. We've also got, with the American Indian, you have they're buffalo men, aren't they? Buffalo boys, buffalo girls go around the outside, do-si-do. So so there, that's the emblem of Joseph, the coupling, coupling bull is what he is. So he's a coupling bull. So meaning that he has his posterity, I'm trying to find. I haven't got it there. So I thought I saved it. So let's just minimize that. And no, we don't want to go there. Minimize that. We're going here. So we're going pictures, PC pictures, and let's have a look. My pictures. It should be there. There it is. That's the emblem I'm looking for. So there it is, Manasseh. And again, there we have the beef, the cow, John Wayne. I grew up on John Wayne films, obviously. So we have the emblem of Manasseh. So we have, and here we have the heraldry of Manasseh is an olive leaf, a bow, and arrows. Bow and arrow. Who are the bow and arrow people exactly? If it's not the Red Indian, or the American Indian, should I say? And so we see the emblems as just as to identify the tribe of Manasseh, and they you see this is the primary, the olive leaf, so it's peace. So we come in peace. How? We come in peace always. And which were the Plains Indians and the Five Nations. I think you call it the Five Nations, or was it the Seven Nations? But anyway, so Manasseh being the 13th tribe, um, Joseph's double portion blessing. So let's just bring that up. So we have Manasseh as the 13th tribe. Oh, the bald eagle obviously comes into play. Let's bring him back. So yeah, okay. So I can't remember what that one was. It was the heraldry I was looking for. So just drop that down, and we bring up the heraldry. I've lost it. So why have I got two of those? I don't want two of those. And why have I got two of those? Don't want two of those either. So no. So let's just go back to not that one. So the American one. So we're looking at the emblem. So let's bring that back up, and there we are. So I have to just move about. I was going to say fart about. I do apologise. Fart around. So yeah. So here we have the emblem and blessing in Genesis 49 of Joseph, and his double portion blessing on Ephraim and Manasseh, as I've already stated. So Joseph is a fruitful bough by a spring. Its branches run over a wall. The archers bitterly attack him, which is interesting, isn't it? So here we go. Archers, so it's part of his emblem, and shoot at him and harass him. So if that's not the history of the American Indian and the being harassed by his own brother, nonetheless Ephraim, when the British obviously and the English came over, the tribe of Ephraim, but we'll get into that. So yeah, so we're looking at that. We're going to just look at the Great Seal. So we have a lot, and it's all relation to my images at the back here of the polar configuration. So we're going to obviously build up, and we're talking about the gathering of Israel and how we are gleaning from different sources and trying to figure out a picture. The picture is what I've learnt in my own personal study, and this is my own personal study and me sharing it with you. So we're going to just look at this emblem. There's so much in it, and about the 13th tribe, so of recognizing Manasseh as the 13th tribe. So yeah, so excuse me, let me just reduce that down. So what do we have? So yeah, let's enlarge it, and we'll just go into it a little bit. So this obviously, I say obviously, it's obvious to me, is the polar configuration. This symbolizes the polar configuration. This is just one aspect. It symbolizes so much more. You know, what does it say? A picture paints 1,000 words. And in this picture, the whole picture as a whole and the individual parts paint 1,000 words. Tell or speak 1,000 words. So we have the cloud. we have the rays of the sun, we have the blue of priesthood, of authority, and we have the stars, shouted for joy. All the stars in Isaiah, wasn't it? Or was it in Job? I'm tangled up here. I've got tangled and I can't move myself about, so I do apologise. So we got the polar configuration. So Saturn, the gold, is the gold Saturn. The blue represents Venus, turquoise blue, priesthood, authority. Interesting. The cloud and the shield as a protection of a light and a shield as a protection. So it also represents the all-seeing eye. So it represents father, mother, and son. And so father, mother, son. This is the polar configuration of planets. So the temporal aspect of the gospel. All things, chapter 29 of Doctrine and Covenants say that there's the two faces of the gospel. The two-faced coin is the spiritual and the temporal, but all is spiritual to the Lord. So the organisation of matter, everything, is all spiritual. It's everything. So that's how it is. So this represents the Shekinah, and the Shekinah is a feminine name and represents the mother, which is an interesting thing. So we have, as I've said, father, mother, son. Interesting concepts here, and I'm not going to go into much detail about all that. As you can see, this is the polar configuration over Zion, over the American continent. The star down here represents the New Jerusalem coming down, the city. So, I mean, this will actually be all over. It would be so big. It's obviously just a sketch, a diagram of it. So we have that. So Manasseh's identity. So we have the olive leaves. We see this in the Manasseh. Let's have a look. We see this in. So I've got the wrong one up again. So release that one and bring up the American, and this is where we see it. So where do we see Manasseh? So what is this? This is wrong one. Oh, there it is, Manasseh. Set emblems of Manasseh. Okay, and release. Is it that one? It's not that one. So bear with me. So is it this one? Okay, it looks like it is. Just bring that up, and here we go. The Manasseh, tribe of Manasseh. The olive branch. So we have Manasseh. We see it there. Let me just enlarge slightly. Looks like I'm looking up to the sky myself. So yeah. So here we have. This is all the emblem. And of course, this knowledge now, people are waking up to it. And that's from Truth Vids. Truth Vids does a great deal on it, so he's absolutely fantastic. He was a member also, I think he grew up in the British Israel movement, and he came out of it. So, but a lot of his ideas come from that. I get some of it from that. We have to understand that when the keys were given to Joseph Smith by Moses for the gathering of the tribes, they were turned. And so that light, that knowledge, it's like opening Pandora's box, so to speak, that, it goes out into the world. So the light, so when that key was turned, just like Elijah giving the keys of genealogy, basically, the fathers, turning the hearts of the fathers, children to the fathers, and so forth. So look at all the genealogical societies that have now sprung up throughout the world. Everyone, I say everyone, a lot of people now are tracing their history. They've that spirit of searching their ancestors, their fathers, their ancestry is taken hold big time, hasn't it? And likewise also the gathering of Israel. So you will have groups that have been touched by the light of Christ, by the light of the key that was turned by Moses, of that priesthood authority, to gather in Israel. And you have these different groups. One of them was the British Identity Group, which was formed in 1870 by Edward Hind. I'm sure he was taught maybe by the missionaries at some time. Maybe not. There was also a group. It's line upon line, precept upon precept, and that's been through the dispensation ages. Here a little, there a little, and and they overlap into each. You had 17th century. You had the Covenanters of Scotland. You had obviously Henry VIII breaking away from Roman Catholicism and so forth. So you had the development of the scriptures coming, the Bible and so forth. So so this group, so Truth Vids, if you get to see his videos, watch his videos. I'm trying to link what I'm doing here up with the Gospel of Jesus Christ, and like I said, this is just my own personal study. If you glean anything from it, then all well and good. So the olive leaf, the arrows, the weapons of war, and being God's battle axe, both Ephraim and Manasseh, so that was Great Britain, and so they are the two witness nations of Jesus Christ, Christian nations. So the colours of their emblems, the red, white and blue, are the emblems of Christ, of heaven, of priesthood, and that's what that is. So let's just go back. So what was I looking at? So we're looking at the 13, the number 13, the 13th tribe. So we have 13 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 leaves on the olive branch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's just going down. 13 berries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we have 13 arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we have 13 stars and stripes. So there it, and we have the bald eagle. And only, I think, in America, I might be slightly wrong about it, it might be somewhere else, but I think not. Only in Americas do we have the bald eagle, and you can read that in Micah chapters 1 verses 15 to 16. So there we go, we have the emblems of Manasseh. So to identify him by their heraldry anciently and today. And we also have another identification with him on the Great Seal. So let's have a look at the Great Seal. Let me bring that up. So the Americas and the Great Seal. Oh, okay, let's bring this one up. Okay, and oh, so out of one, the many, which is the motto, I can't pronounce it. Let me just pronounce the motto on the Great Seal. No, missed it. Oh, here it is. So that's just how we pronounce it.
A pluribus unum.
In an English accent, a pluribus unum. And below is the UK translation for a pluribus unum. A pluribus unum. And what does it say? It's a Latin word that means out of many, one. And is the motto of the United States. It is present in the national symbol of the US, the Great Seal. Okay, so we have, how do we pronounce it?
A pluribus unum.
Oh yeah, I struggle with pronunciations. A pluribus
unum. A pluribus unum.
And thank you. And on the Great Seal, we also have the motto, we'll do it now, which is
Inuit Coeptis. Inuit Coeptis.
Inuit Coeptis.
Inuit Coeptis.
Thank you for that. Inuit Coeptis. So there we have Inuit Coeptis. And you can see these letters, they form the Star of David. So that's interesting. And you see this also on you will see this also on the American sheriff badges. Now, I thought I had that, so I've lost that. So okay, oh there we go, the American sheriff badges. So there you go, and we have the Star of David, and we also have on some sheriff badges you have the 5-star, which, so this is the known as the Greater Seal, and that's of Melchizedek, the Greater Seal of Melchizedek. And we have the 5-star, which you also see on some sheriff badges, some counties. The 5-star badge, which is the Lesser Seal, or the Seal of Solomon. But I'm not going to go into that. Again, all representing the oh, what have we done? So let's just minimize that, and representing, aha, so the okay, let's delete that. Manasseh can go, we delete Manasseh, and oh, we'll just delete that one, and let's just see. Okay, so all representing the polar configuration. So this is what it represents, because the heavens declare the glory of God. Therefore, this is the glory of God. And when Joseph Smith spoke about the heavens and David, they were talking about our solar system, And I would say in particular the terrestrial and the celestial. We are in a telestial solar system at the moment, and that has to be understood, even though the stars and the heavens do, because the Lord doesn't leave anybody without light and knowledge. So therefore, but the terrestrial has the lesser. So we have the lesser light and knowledge. So even though, and this is the greater light and knowledge, the polar configuration, the terrestrial, the paradisical, the golden age of Saturn, Venus and Mars. And now Saturn being Kolob in this regard. The celestial goes on and above, obviously. This is, I personally believe, is when the Earth will go back. So we're going to move into the terrestrial. The Earth will go back into the celestial, which may well be the centre of our galaxy. There are galaxies that orbit galaxies and so you've got clusters, you've got superclusters, and you've got superclusters, and it just goes on. Abraham talks about that with if there's one planet above another, and so forth, and so forth with intelligences. So anyway, that's, I don't want to get off on sidetracking as yet. We just want to establish Ephraim, establish Manasseh, establish Joseph's double portion blessing in gathering the. Sorry, I'm looking over there because I'm looking at the how I'm coming across basically. So and they being the chief tribes in the restoration of the house of Israel, and how they're going to play their part, and how they have played their part and will continue to do so. As I said, I'm going to glean from other books. I'm going to talk about Emmanuel Verkovsky, as I mentioned, Phyllis, Carol Olive. I'm going to use Michael Rush. I'm going to use William Walker, because William Walker, as Jeffrey R. Holland said,
so we remember these places. Bill and Frida, Bill and Frida Walker were legendary out in Lowestoft, little tiny branch. Now it's
Bill and Frida Walker were legendary, and so it was. That's what he goes on to say. Now, this talk given by Jeffrey R. Holland is related. We had 3 apostles come in 2021, October 31st, to the United Kingdom, and Jeffrey R. Holland's talk is about gathering in of Israel in these islands. Still much of the blood. Great days of England are not yet done, and that Great Britain would save the church in the early days, and that they would do so again in the latter days, in the future. So here, Gadfield Elm Chapel, donated by the United Brethren, over 300, around about 300 joined the church. This red arrow indicating that they sailed over to Nauvoo and then on to Salt Lake. So, and I was the stonemason that not just me, I was paid as to rebuild it, but through a contract of my friends. Anyway, but we'll get into that later as I go on. So I think we didn't do the everlasting hills. So we're looking at the everlasting hills, and and here we go. The Rocky Mountains, the everlasting hills, the blessing given by Jacob to his son Ephraim and Manasseh jointly, or given to Joseph, I should say. Get that right. So let's have a look at that again. So Joseph sees into the future. Jacob also, by the priesthood authority, by the Holy Ghost, saw into the future and saw these, everlasting hills. And then it's in Genesis 49, in particular, verses 22 to 26, I think I've got there. So let's just bring that up. Revelation, no, I don't think I brought it up. But let's have a look. This chapter 62. In the last days, Israel will be gathered, Zion. So will be established. Her watchmen will teach about the Lord. So the watchmen being the church leaders, the prophets and apostles. The gospel standard will be lifted. This is the end sign, and the people will be called holy. Will be called holy, the redeemed of the Lord. So and Revelation, Isaiah chapter 18 also is talking about the America. Isaiah sees America in the future. So the land of this woe is if we look it up, a greeting. So it comes up as a greeting. So hey is like hi, yo, whoa, how you doing? So to the land shadowing with eagle's wings. So if you look at America from a bird's eye point of view, from an eagle's point of view, you will see that the north and south look like two eagles' wings from a satellite point of view. So beyond the rivers of Ethiopia was a reference to a distant land, a far distant land is suggested. So Kash, well, it was Ethiopia. Africa was known as Ethiopia, the continent. So looking beyond, and then send ambassadors and so forth. But we'll get into that in another video, I think. I think we're done with this one. So, I was going to go to Genesis, wasn't I? Let me just, so Genesis 12:17 is the hidden manna. No, it's not. I don't know why. This was another sign of Ephraim, stars and stripes, the sun, the moon, and the stars. And in Genesis, let's just go to the Old Testament, and we go Genesis chapter 37, and it's up there, isn't it? So Genesis 37, we have, what do we have? We have, and it was governor, stars and stripes. So Genesis 37, what does it say? And 11 stars made, I can't even pronounce that, ominous to me, or bowed down. So behold, I had a dream, and I dreamed more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bowed down to me. So the 11 stars being the 12 tribes, bowing down to Joseph, Joseph having a double portion, Ephraim and Manasseh, so that would be the 12 tribes. So Ephraim and Manasseh being, as I've said, as you know, Joseph's double portion blessing, and who have the birthright, who are to implement and lead in the gathering of Israel. And just to emphasize that, we have, what's his name, Gerald Alverston, I think. Here we go. And Gerald Alverston says this, about Ephraim and Manasseh. So let's just play that.
But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. Again, we don't know why, but there will be something about Ephraim, that God is choosing them and multiplying them into a multitude of nations that can then go and gather the rest of the family home. That's what the birthright blessing is all about. Ephraim first, and gathering in Manasseh, we see that in the early history of the church, as people from the British Isles, people from Europe, Northern Europe, flock into the kingdom. Ephraimites. Joseph Smith, an Ephraimite. You see then the kingdom spread, especially among the descendants of Lehi. There's Manasseh. Lehi was from Manasseh. And to see the Lamanite mission right off the bat, to see the church growing by leaps and bounds in Latin America, so many of whom in their patriarchal blessings come from the tribe of Manasseh. Ephraim and Manasseh, it's like 1A and 1B, Joseph's tribes, birthright blessing, double portion, a multitude of nations coming into the kingdom of God, with the responsibility to bring the rest of the family, and from there bring all the families of the earth. Choose all to be chosen with you.
Yeah, and that is just so fascinating. I love that. I love him saying that, and I love the sister that pointed that to me. So, the everlasting hills. One last thing, I think I just wanted to read. Oh, I've done it again. So, yeah, so I wanted to read the scripture, if I can get to it, and it's in Genesis 49. So we're looking at Genesis 49 and Joseph's blessing. Judah, Zebulun, Dan, and Joseph. And here it is. So Joseph, oh, I've lost you there. Joseph is a fruitful bough. Let's get that read.
Israel. Dan shall be a serpent out of Asher. Hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee.
I gotta go
and
back.
by the Almighty. Naphtali is a hind let loose.
Oh, Naphtali.
He giveth goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him, but his bow abode in strength. And the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors, and the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil.
Okay, so Benjamin I didn't want to go into, but interesting. So there it is, the everlasting hills. I love that. When you read that, it's just absolutely fantastic. And there they are, those everlasting hills. And what a description the Lord Jacob has given to the Rocky Mountains. I mean, only could he see that in vision as a prophet, and that's just absolutely a business. And there they are. Wow. And I'd like to see them. My sister lives in America, so hopefully I'll get to go and visit her soon. So yeah, so with that, and that ending, well, that is the end, and the everlasting hills. So Joseph Smith, the American prophet of God, is the Holy Goat. We're going to go and discuss all that. Obviously, is that section. So I think we've covered that little bit. We're going to move across. We're going to look at the shepherd's stone, the bald eagle. I think we covered a little bit of that. Having a high place. We're going to look at the banner of Christ, the American flag, both the flags of Ephraim and Manasseh. We're going to I'll look at the American chapters in a bit more detail, chapters 60 to 62, and Isaiah 18, Deuteronomy 28. So yeah, look at that. We'll look at being Samson, America being the name of Uncle Sam, where that comes from. And yeah, so we're going to look at the in that blessing that we just read from 49, Genesis 49, with Joseph, blessings of the deep and blessings of the heavens above. Well, here we got space travel, satellites, I say space travel, but going into blessings of space and so forth, and America led in all that. So absolutely brilliant. The red heifer, the bullman, the cowboy, and that's in Hosea 11 as well. So we're just identifying Manasseh, the gathering, the how that all comes about, and of course we're going to look at Little Bo Peep, Lost Israel in folklore, the lament of Rachel over her children, Jeremiah 31 verses 15 to 17, and how she lamented because all have gone astray, and we'll look at that. And the ancient sages handed down these biblical, and I should say biblical, scriptural references or these scripts anyway, through nursery rhyme. And yeah, so we're going to look at the whole of that. Christopher Columbus, Pilgrims, the Mayflower, where they actually landed, which is interesting, because where the Pilgrims landed and where Mulek came in from Ireland down the I don't know what you call this river, or came this way through here and down to the Ontario, I think it is, Great Lake, and this is where the Hill Cumorah is. Well, we know that for fact, and there are some that say Zalhamla's here, and that's Phyllis Carroll Olive's interpretation, and some say Joseph. Well, the scriptures say that Zarahemla was here opposite Nauvoo. Well, we'll look at that, but I do go with Phyllis Carroll's. You've got the Finger Lakes, the Great Lakes, the Narrow Neck of Land, and so forth. So I think that'll do. I think we're done on that. We'll talk about the missionaries, the temples being built, and so forth. And as I did say, it's all in relation to the Saviour and the polar configuration, and how this is going to be part of the gathering of Israel. And so that's it. And I hope you enjoyed it. So let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you next time.